Overdone!
How about a bit of unwanted painting and decorating?
Where's Danny?
He's still in custody.
Why ain't you released him yet? He's got a clean record. There's no reason for him to do anything like this.
We think we've got something.
Yeah, it's down here.
The drain's slap in the middle of the spot where we think the stabbing occurred and the boy's flat.
So Danny could have stabbed Clinton, taken the drugs and then dumped the knife when he got home. How wet was the drain?
Well, I think we got to it in time. There was still blood on the blade and the handle was quite dry.
Good. Let's hope forensics agree. Where's Will?
He's overseeing the search of Clinton Andrews' flat.
What's he still doing there?
Trying to determine whether or not Clinton Andrews is a drug dealer. If he is, then it supports everything Danny told us in the interview.
Yeah, well, he doesn't need to be there for the whole search. That's a uniform job.
I think he's trying to be conscientious, Gov. His attachment's nearly over, and I think he's trying to impress you.
What do you make of him?
He's bright. A touch raw, perhaps.
I know he wants to stay in CID. I've got to decide whether to approve his transfer or return him back to uniform.
Well, you can't question his enthusiasm.
I had a dog like that once. Got run over. We need to re-interview Danny Stepney, see how he reacts to these developments, and in Will's absence, I'll sit in with you.
Gov.
Gov, there's a Marcus Stepney at the front desk asking for you. Says it's to do with the Clinton Andrews stabbing. Marcus.
You're holding the wrong man.
Well, we've gathered an awful lot of evidence that would suggest otherwise.
Look, I know for a fact that Danny didn't stab that kid.
How come?
Because it was me. I'm the man you want. The kid, how is he?
He's in a critical condition. Intensive care at St. Hugh's. What happened this morning?
Look, I need to start from the beginning.
All right.
I've been having a lot of problems with Danny.
What sort of problems?
The drugs. We've been arguing a lot because I don't want him to end up like I did. You know, just the thought of it makes my blood boil.
Where you live, Marcus, is well known to us as a drug hotspot. Temptation is literally on the doorstep. Is that what this is about?
I was on my way home when I saw him standing there.
Who?
Clinton. He's a dealer. I've seen him hang around before.
Ever spoken to him?
Oh, yeah. He knows me.
So when you saw him this morning, what did you do?
I ignored it at first. I just went into the flat. But it was just winding me up, you know. Knowing he was out there, doing business, I thought I'd scare him away. So I grabbed a knife and I went out and I told him to go. But he weren't having any of it. Next thing I know, he's in my face, shouting. So I just stuck the knife in.
How many times?
I don't know. It happened so fast.
Where did you stab him?
His chest.
Then what?
I panicked. I dropped the knife down the drain and I ran.
Where did you go?
Just up the road. I wasn't thinking straight. When I calmed down, I just went home.
What about the towel that we found?
I don't know how that got there. Why would I lie? I'm confessing to this, aren't I?
Was Danny there? Did he know what happened?
I told him the whole thing.
So he's been covering for you all along?
Yeah, I guess he thought you wouldn't be able to gather enough evidence to make a case. Not when he's innocent.
And with your record, he knew you'd go down for a long stretch this time.
How do we know it's not the other way around? You could have concocted this whole story just to protect him.
Because when you check that knife for fingerprints, the only ones you'll find on it will be mine.
The stories tally. Danny could have gone down the alley as he'd arranged. Found Clinton after Marcus had stabbed him.
Maybe, but I'm still not convinced. Marcus isn't covering for Danny. For all we know, it may be a joint attack by both of them.
Well, now we've got Marcus's side of things, we ought to see how Danny responds.
Yeah, I agree. Call Will Fletcher. He should be back by now.
Go.
So what do you reckon? Does this room look like a drug dealer's den to you?
Well, if I'm honest, no.
That doesn't mean so it's not happening.
We're done.
Nothing here, mate. All right, tell.
I told you, my son isn't a drug dealer.
Marcus is lying.
What do you mean?
I stabbed Clinton. He's trying to protect me.
Why'd they change his story, Danny?
Because I don't want Marcus going down for something he didn't do.
So what are you telling us happened then?
I wanted to buy some coke, but Clinton wouldn't sell to me. He said he's putting his rates up and I couldn't afford it. There were some verbals and things started getting a bit out of hand. Then he started fronting up. I told him where to go and then he shoved me. That's when I pulled a knife out.
Why were you carrying a knife?
For protection, I've always carried one.
What then?
I didn't mean for it to happen, it just did. Then it's like I told you, I took the drugs out of his pocket and ran home. I really thought I killed him. So I phoned Marcus.
What did he say?
He said he'd come back and take care of it.
And did he?
Yeah. He cleaned me up and got rid of the knife.
So you're saying that Marcus is protecting you. How do we know you're not protecting him?
Look, you don't understand. Just before Marcus got banged up, he got his bird pregnant. When he went down, she left him.
So what's your point?
It really changed him. He did rehab and that. They even let him out early for good behaviour.
Marcus says it's his fear that you'll end up an addict that made him stab Clinton.
Don't you get it? He's got his kids somewhere he'll never see. So I'm all he's got. He'd do anything to protect me. Even if it meant going back inside.
Ah, P.C. Fletcher, the Wanderer returns.
Sorry, Gov. I was over at Clinton's place.
So I gather. And what valuable bit of information did we acquire from this?
Well, nothing, Gov. That's what I'm bothered about. There was nothing there at all. No drugs, no sign of drug use.
If Clinton's not a dealer, then both Marcus's and Danny's stories fall apart.
Well, what if Clinton was in the alleyway to buy drugs rather than sell them? When I was in Clinton's room, I found his diary, which said it was his girlfriend's birthday today and she had a party tonight. What if it's Danny that's dealing the drugs and Clinton just wanted to get a bit of gear for the party?
Well, that would fit with the text that Danny sent saying meeting in the usual place.
When I spoke to his girlfriend, she was adamant he doesn't deal drugs, but he does like to have a bit of coke on him for special occasions.
Gov, forensics are back on that knife. The fingerprints are a match for Marcus Stepney.
Just like you said.
If Will's right about Clinton, then it just doesn't make sense. Why would either of them stab him if he was a customer?